boldness today to report to you that I'm incredibly disappointed in one of my all-time favorite fighters, my brother, Floyd Money Mayweather.
Yes. So is it just his overhead is so high on a day-to-day, month-to-month? Like
I don't even want to talk about it. Like with the lifestyle, that money's gone. Trust me. Now it's like you call him, he'll be at your local hosting in a nightclub because you need that action right now.
Do you think he should step back in the ring?
I think he got to right now because the money gone.
Logan. Now he's fighting Deji. Is he broke? Is Mayweather broke?
Are y'all new here?
Yeah.
Is he broke?
Yeah.
He's broke.
Yes.
That makes sense.
No, he's not.
7 years removed from one of the highest earning events the fight game has ever witnessed, the narrative surrounding Floyd Mayweather is no longer what it used to be. There was a time when he symbolized financial supremacy in boxing, a fighter who built his identity around wealth and showcased it at every opportunity. His brand revolved around luxury, excess, and record-breaking paydays that reinforced his larger-than-life image. But lately, the conversation has started to change. The same athlete once celebrated as the ultimate example of boxing riches is now the subject of increasing whispers and questions. Speculation is building that the fortune so closely tied to his name may not be as untouchable as it once seemed. For years, Mayweather represented the pinnacle of earnings in combat sports. Now, years after that historic payday, uncertainty is beginning to cloud the financial legacy that defined him.
Jake, did Logan ever get paid with the situation with Floyd Mayweather?
Nah, not yet. Floyd Mayweather's broke. You know, that's what a lot of people don't realize. He gets these big checks and doesn't pay the taxes on it. And then the IRS comes hunting him down later. He owes a lot of people I know money. And Logan's deep down on that list. So,
although Floyd has publicly dismissed the financial rumors, new comments from Stephen A. Smith have added fuel to the discussion. Smith recently shared details that bring renewed attention to the massive 2017 showdown between Mayweather and Conor McGregor. That event generated roughly $600 million overall, marking the largest payday of Mayweather's career. Reports at the time indicated that Floyd earned about $275 million, while McGregor secured approximately $85 million. The fight was widely viewed as a business-driven spectacle, yet criticism was minimal because Mayweather controlled every aspect of it from start to finish. Leading up to the bout, Mayweather privately told Smith exactly how he expected it to unfold. According to Smith, Floyd predicted he would play with McGregor early on before finishing him somewhere around the 8th or 9th round. Smith later repeated that claim publicly during an appearance on Mike Tyson's Hot Boxing podcast, where he applauded Mayweather's accuracy, ring IQ, and calculated approach, especially TH.
And stay in his chest. He's going to have to push me off in order to throw his punches. He said he's going to be circling the ring. He said by around 4 or 5, he's not going to have any legs. He's going to be done. And he said, and I'll just toy with him and keep him around until around the 8th or the 9th.
Stephen A. Smith didn't leave the conversation there. For years, he maintained a strong relationship with Floyd, even sitting down with him in the past to discuss the vast fortune he had accumulated. At that time, the image of endless wealth went largely unchallenged. But circumstances appear different now, with Mayweather no longer competing. Smith has become more willing to question the long-standing belief that Floyd's finances are limitless and untouchable. The shift isn't based solely on speculation. It's tied to observable actions, documented reports, and internal issues that paint a more complicated picture. In February 2025, multiple individuals said to be part of Mayweather's team reportedly considered leaving their positions, citing unpaid salaries. That development added another layer to the growing discussion about whether his financial reality aligns with the image he continues to project.
But I just probably use it, so. Okay.
The money team has no money.
Martin, money team has no money.
The money team has
hard
work, dedication, no pay.
It's not fun to this race, you know.
Hard work, dedication, no. Hard work, dedication.
Reports indicated that the frustration extended across several roles within Mayweather's organization. Individuals working as personal aides, trainers and gym staff, members of a security team, and office personnel allegedly voiced concerns, both privately and in public, about delayed salaries and payments that had not been clearly explained. It wasn't described as an isolated complaint from a single worker, but rather a situation involving people from multiple areas of his operation. The timing also drew attention. These claims surfaced around the same period that Floyd reportedly spent more than $1 million on a luxury Super Bowl suite in Las Vegas. For someone who has earned over $1 billion throughout his career, allegations of difficulty covering payroll for close staff members created an uncomfortable contrast. For an athlete whose public identity has long centered on financial dominance and the ability to outspend anyone around him, such reports don't just spark curiosity. They risk undermining the very image that define.
Money made all day. You know, right here, a light million. Over there, counting up another million over there. Walk with me, ladies and gentlemen. Let me take you into my life.
The situation appears even more complicated when you examine the direction Floyd's career has taken since 2018. Instead of stepping away completely, he has participated in a steady stream of exhibition appearances, far more than most retired champions of his level typically pursue. These events haven't been framed as legacy-defining contests or meaningful competitive challenges. They've largely been positioned as financial opportunities. Over the past several years, he has shared the ring with a Japanese kickboxer, online personalities, digital content creators, and relatively unknown opponents in locations such as Dubai and London. Each time, Mayweather has described these outings as effortless income. That pattern raises an obvious question. If, as he once stated in 2017, he had $300 million sitting in his checking account, what motivates a retired icon to repeatedly travel around the world for matchups against individuals without traditional boxing backgrounds?
Accountable, like Floyd, for example. I mean, Floyd doesn't even know his opponent's name, so are you holding him accountable to that? Floyd should still be fighting people that, you know, he at least people that know that his opponent's name and stuff. Are you saying the same thing?
Hold on. A couple of things. Number one, last time I checked, Floyd retired. These are exhibitions that he had. I don't even count these. Floyd will tell you that himself. When Floyd, I didn't count Conor McGregor as a boxing match. That was a damn exhibition. I ain't paying no attention to that.
Observers within boxing have started to notice a broader pattern. Unlike many high-profile athletes who transition into structured, long-term investments after retirement, Floyd has not been widely associated with building diversified portfolios, purchasing ownership stakes in teams, or developing large-scale business infrastructure. Throughout his career and beyond, his spending habits have been highly visible. He acquired sprawling properties, assembled an extensive collection of luxury vehicles that are seldom driven, invested heavily in high-end jewelry, maintained access to private jets, and purchased watches valued at amounts comparable to residential homes. These acquisitions reinforced his larger-than-life persona online and strengthened his image of excess. However, luxury items of that nature typically lose value over time, and the cost of upkeep alone can become substantial. As years pass, maintaining such a lifestyle requires continuous cash flow, not just headline year.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, limited edition AP, all factory, 1.8 million right here. The $20 bills section. We like to call this the Andrew Jackson section, but I like to call it wallpaper. 200,000 in 20s. I heard in the song you can get the biggest Chanel bag in the store if you want it. Well, it's the biggest Chanel bag in the world. I got this bag from Karl Lagerfeld.
In 2024, Floyd attracted attention after stating that he had paid $18 million to the IRS in taxes. The comment was intended to reinforce the idea that he continues to generate substantial income. But it also highlighted a different issue. Such a large payment suggested that his financial structure may not be optimized in the way many ultra-wealthy individuals manage theirs. High net worth figures typically rely on experienced accountants and legal advisors to structure earnings efficiently and reduce tax exposure within the bounds of the law. The disclosure created the impression that Mayweather may still be operating with the same approach that defined much of his career, prioritizing spending and major transactions first, with long-term financial planning appearing to come after.
And again, on $25 million in taxes, hey man, you know, stuff about to get real for you, Floyd, man, because you already owe Gervonta Davis $33 million that you ain't paid him. Do anybody find this strange that your boy Floyd is on all the IRS money, on Dubai money, on Gervonta Davis money, but yet we have all this stuff, all that flash that y'all see, which y'all realize, man, he get a lot of that.
Situation became even more complicated in early 2025. Floyd publicly stated that he had invested in a Manhattan skyscraper development valued at $42 million. Headlines quickly circulated, presenting the move as another major business play. However, when property filings and ownership documents were reviewed, his name did not appear as a primary owner or principal stakeholder. According to individuals familiar with the project, his involvement, if any, was limited to a small, non-controlling interest rather than full ownership. Despite that distinction, the announcement was promoted in a way that suggested he possessed the building outright, creating a noticeable gap between the public impression and the documented details.
No partners. All by myself. Over 1,000 apartments. I'm just getting started.
For years, amplifying his financial image worked in his favor. It strengthened the persona he built around wealth and success. But the reaction today feels different. Instead of admiration, the response has shifted towards skepticism. There's a growing sense that the constant emphasis on money may be more about maintaining perception than reflecting reality. When declarations of wealth are repeatedly reinforced with increasingly dramatic displays, it can begin to invite doubt rather than reinforce credibility. At the same time, his approach to exhibition appearances has appeared less consistent. Some of these matchups have been arranged with minimal promotion or build-up, adding to the broader questions surrounding the direction he has chosen in this phase of his career.
He's one of the greatest of all time. He never lost.
He's 50 now.
So he's going to do that for a bag, for clout.
In March 2025, he arranged an exhibition in Paris against an unranked French social media personality, and the turnaround was unusually quick. The announcement came with little advance notice and almost no traditional promotional push. Floyd reportedly arrived just 2 days before the event, fulfilled only limited media obligations, and departed the following morning. Individuals familiar with the situation claimed that he insisted on receiving his payment in cash prior to stepping into the ring. Actions like that tend to raise eyebrows, as they can suggest an emphasis on immediate liquidity rather than long-term financial positioning.
You have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard, I know life is expensive, but come on, dude, put your legacy first. Nobody wants to remember you like this. And it gets worse, your jeweler filed a lawsuit against you in Miami. And many are saying you're gonna have to sell off your assets. Floyd, I'm rooting for you. Come on, let's turn it around.
Despite the mounting scrutiny, there has been no visible shift in his lifestyle. Floyd continues to rely on private aviation for travel and maintains the same high-spending habits that have defined his public image for years. He has also stated that carrying large sums of cash, reportedly around $100,000 at a time, remains part of his daily routine.
He still wears million-dollar watches to casual dinners, but the hustle behind the scenes has intensified. He's pushing his Mayweather Boxing plus Fitness franchise harder.
At the same time, he's been intensifying efforts to expand his Mayweather Boxing plus Fitness franchise network. Reports suggest that franchise owners have faced increased pressure to launch additional locations and purchase larger merchandise packages. Some operators have voiced frustration, claiming they feel treated more as revenue sources than long-term partners, with limited hands-on operational guidance coming from Floyd's side. There have also been unconfirmed discussions about significant borrowing tied to his personal holdings. Individuals said to be familiar with his inner circle allege that certain Las Vegas real estate properties and select high-end vehicles have been used as collateral to secure liquidity. If accurate, that could clarify how large public expenditures continue while, behind the scenes, Those managing day-to-day operations are reportedly working to stabilize the business structure.
Just another ordinary day, chilling in an EWV Rolls Royce. For those that don't know what an EWV is, that's an extended wheelbase Rolls Royce. I need the leg. I know I ain't that tall, about 5'8.5". Some days 5'9", but it is what it is. Chilling, sitting right here watching the Thriller in Manila, Ali versus.
Another issue frequently mentioned is the absence of Floyd's involvement in widely recognized long-term business ventures. In contrast to athletes like LeBron James, Magic Johnson, and Shaquille O'Neal, who expanded into ownership stakes, restaurant brands, and technology investments, Mayweather has largely remained within the entertainment and exhibition space. That choice alone isn't inherently problematic, but it can become challenging if consistent revenue slows. Exhibition events offer income, yet they rely heavily on novelty and demand. Over time, audience interest can decline, and appearance fees may follow the same trajectory. Observers suggest that this natural cycle may already be taking effect. The broader pattern isn't unfamiliar in professional sports. Numerous athletes who built their public image around luxury and visible spending have eventually faced financial strain once active competition ended. In Floyd's case, the stakes appear higher because his identity has long been tied to being the wealth.
And they say, well, it's not all about the money. Well, your kids can't eat legacy. They can eat off the currency.
Although Floyd frequently references streams of passive revenue, there is limited public documentation showing that his current standard of living is supported by anything beyond event appearances and short-term agreements. The figures he continues to cite, suggesting annual earnings in the hundreds of millions, are not clearly reflected in recent fight payouts or publicly disclosed business activity. The last time his financial moves generated widespread attention, the focus was on a career reportedly worth $1.2 billion, a run that reshaped how boxing revenue was viewed. Today, the conversation centers on a different direction: property investments and questions surrounding the stability behind the image. Mayweather has positioned himself aggressively in real estate, highlighting major acquisitions in Manhattan and publicly aligning with firms such as SL Green and 6001W. The strategy suggests an effort to establish long-term credibility in one of the most competitive property markets in the world, rather than simply buying and reselling individual units. Yet, as April 2025 progresses, the uncertainty surrounding his broader financial standing appears to be intensifying. The instability isn't being attributed to the physical buildings themselves, but to the growing questions about the structure supporting the empire he is attempting to build.
Black. When my career is over, as far as me in a combat sport, as far as boxing, whatever, if I'm promoting on social media or I'm doing exhibitions, it's like, oh man, he's broke. No, it's not a crime for them to make money. They don't say nothing about the guys that's 80 and 90 that's still making hundreds of millions and billions, but soon as somebody black does it, your people, your own people, say, oh, he's broke.
Controversy did not erupt overnight. It began quietly, as many disputes do. A small group of employees gathered outside the Mayweather boxing and fitness location on Highland Avenue in Los Angeles, standing with handmade signs in full public view. The wording on those posters was direct and emotional. They accused the organization of neglect, broken promises, and financial mistreatment. Each message carried added weight because it was tied to one of the most recognizable figures in professional sports. One sign in particular drew attention, declaring that the money team has no money. The
job is to help you. Yeah, I'm with Floyd, getting a check. I get a check from Floyd, but I want to push you. Have your own business while you traveling the world with me, and we laughing, we kicking, and we joking. You got a company where you're making money also. So if something go wrong and you're not with me no more, you don't have nothing bad to say about me because I put you in a position to become an entrepreneur or to become a boss.
What has intensified public reaction isn't only the demonstration itself, but the uncertainty surrounding Floyd's awareness of the situation. According to one employee, staff members were specifically instructed not to inform him about the studio's shutdown despite the fact that he had visited the location just 2 weeks earlier. That detail has fueled speculation. Mayweather reportedly toured the facility, greeted people, took photos, and departed. Yet workers now claim serious operational issues were unfolding at the same time. This leaves two uncomfortable possibilities in the public conversation. Either he was unaware of the difficulties facing his staff, or he was informed and chose not to intervene. The larger question emerging from the controversy is whether Floyd operates as a distant figurehead, disconnected from the day-to-day realities within his own business network, or whether the responsibility ultimately rests with him regardless of how closely he manages those operations.
That's what I do every day. Shop. I ain't number like a couple bucks. Greg, come with me. I didn't get these. Yeah. I did?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The debate has now shifted to a more difficult place. Some wonder whether he is simply detached from the day-to-day issues, while others question if he anticipated financial turbulence and began shifting focus toward large-scale commercial real estate as a protective move, even as his fitness operations face strain. Employment laws in California are strict, and missed wages can trigger escalating financial penalties. If affected workers were to pursue collective legal action, the reputational impact alone could be severe. Allegations of delayed compensation and lack of communication would directly clash with the image that has defined the Money Team brand for years. For someone whose identity has long been built on financial invincibility, public claims of cash flow problems or unpaid staff create a stark contrast. Regardless of the legal outcome, even the perception of instability presents a significant challenge to a persona centered on being.
Persona is money, 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 and you don't get paid. Well, that's exactly what it is for employees of Floyd Mayweather. Employees of his Los Angeles gym accused Floyd Mayweather of bankruptcy after failing to pay them. I mean, he's still buying stuff. Portfolio valued at $10 billion, including 18 office buildings spanning. I mean, he can do all this, but he can't pay his employees' salaries. $10 billion portfolio, 18 office buildings spanning 10 million square feet.
It's important to recognize that Mayweather has never presented himself as a typical former athlete. He has consistently described himself as a sharp, self-directed businessman, someone who negotiated his own path without relying on traditional promoters or intermediaries. His message has always been simple: control the deals, control the revenue. Yet recent reports have complicated that image. Claims that employees in Los Angeles experienced delayed compensation, along with the closure of the Elk Grove location reportedly linked to minimal unpaid rent, have raised questions. When operational issues surface at that level, observers naturally begin to scrutinize the broader structure. Online reaction has been swift. Across social platforms, users are forming their own interpretations. Some suggest that the surge in high-profile property announcements may not signal dominance, but urgency. Others have pointed to the noticeable increase in publicity surrounding his real estate ventures, interpreting it as an attempt to reinforce a narrative of financial strength. Posts circulating on social media reflect that skepticism. One user suggested it appears as though the emphasis is on demonstrating wealth rather than quietly maintaining it. Another questioned why someone described as a billionaire would aggressively expand fitness franchises unless additional revenue streams were necessary.